Initiation into Hermetics by Franz Barden. And where did we get to? Magic Psychic Training 4. In this chapter, we shall amplify the work concerning the elements. We have learned to take in the elements by breathing through lungs and pores, and to perceive its specific qualities in our whole body. Now we shall charge single parts of the body with any element we like, which can be executed in two different ways. The magician should manage both methods. The first one is as follows. In the same way as described in step 3, through inhaling with lungs and pores, you are breathing the elements into the whole body and accumulate it there. That means you are breathing out thoroughly without any imagination at all. While inhaling, connect your imagination of feelings with the specific quality of the element. Fire forming the idea of heat, water that of cold, air of lightness, and the earth of gravity. You have to begin with inhaling 7 times. Instead of dissolving the accumulated element, giving it back to the universe through imagination. Lead it to that part of the body you chose, by compressing the specific quality of the element, and fill the concerning parts of the body with it. You should fill the compressed element with its specific quality much stronger in the single part of the body than in the whole body. Similar to the stream producing a high pressure when being compressed, the flesh, the bones, and the skin of the single part of the body have to be penetrated with the element. Consequently, if you are feeling the specific quality of the element enormously strong in the loaded part of the body, let it be dissolved with the help of your imagination throughout the whole body, and by breathing out as described in step 3. Let is stream forth and back to the universe. Let it perhaps stream forth and back to the universe. This exercise has to be done with each of the elements, alternately with every external and internal organ, with the exception of the brain and the heart. Do never accumulate any element in these 2 organs at all, neither in your own case nor in the case of other people, to avoid damages. Only a master who is perfectly experienced in managing elements may allow himself a certain accumulation in the heart and brain without ruining himself. He knows his body and has got it well in hand. Every organ, the heart and brain, as well, are suited for the supply of elements with their specific qualities, but, of course, without any accumulation. The beginner should always avoid to accumulate elements or vital power, neither in the heart nor in the brain, especially if he is not yet able to observe the functions of the different organs with the help of clairvoyance. By performing an accumulation of elements or vital power in the whole body, the brain and the heart are getting used to the general accumulation, because in this case the tension is not related to one organ only, but is expanding over the whole body. It is very important indeed to manage the accumulation of elements and vital power in the hands and feet very well, because this will be of manifold use in the practical application of magic. The keenest attention should be paid to the fingers. further possibility of withdrawing an element from an organ of the body is not to lead back the accumulated element into the body and to deliver it through the pore breathing to the universe, but with the help of the imagination, one can return through the pores the whole element to the universe at once from the organ. This process is quicker. The magician naturally must be capable to manage both methods and must understand how to handle them quite at will. The second method of element accumulation in any part of the body is to transfer one's own personality with the consciousness into one part of the body and allow it, similar to the breathing through the pores, to inhale and to breathe out. The element which is inhaled with every breath stays there while you are breathing out thoroughly. As soon as you are feeling that a sufficient amount of the element has been accumulated in the inhaling part of the body, do set it free again while you are breathing out. This means give it back to the universe from where you have drawn it. This process is quite simple and quick, but it requires a perfect transplantation of the consciousness. On the other hand, the accumulation of vital power in a certain part of the body has to be managed very skillfully indeed. When perfectly acquainted with this practice, you can proceed to a further step. We all know that the human body is divided into 4 principal regions corresponding to the elements. For the sake of a better understanding, we shall repeat it. The feet up to the thighs, rump, bone, including the genitals, correspond to the earth. The abdominal region, with all the internal organs such as bowels, milt, gall, liver, stomach, to the midriff, correspond to the water element. The chest, the lungs, and the heart to the neck correspond to the air element, and the head, with all its organs, to the fire element. The task of the next exercise is to load the different regions of the body with the corresponding element. The practice is as follows. Take up your favorite position, in brackets asana. By breathing through the lungs and pores, inhale the earth element with its specific property of gravity into the earth region of the body, from the feet along the genitals to the rump bone. Inhale the earth element 7 times. Breathe out thoroughly, filling the earth region thus with the element influencing it. Keep the earth element in the earth region and inhale the water element 7 times into the water region. That is the abdomen, without breathing it out, so that this region remains equally filled with its own element. Then turn to the next element and fill the chest by inhaling the air element 7 times and leaving this element without breathing it out in its own region. Now it is the turn of the head region, which you are also filling by inhaling the fire element 7 times. Exhale the empty breath, and head region will remain also filled with the fire element. All the regions being loaded with the corresponding elements remain about 2 to 5 minutes in this position and then begin with the dissolving of the elements. One begins where one did finish, in our case evidently from the head, with the fire element by empty inhaling 7 times and altogether 7 times breathing out the fire element into the universe. The head region being disengaged from the element, the next region we have to look at is the one of the air. After that, the region of the water, and finally the one of the earth, until the whole body is free from accumulation of elements. If you did achieve a certain skill with this exercise, you may still extend it by not only filling the different body regions with the elements, but accumulating the elements in these regions. The process is the same as just described. That is, you begin again with the earth element and finish with the fire element. The procedure of dissolving is equal to the one of the previous experiment. These exercises are of great importance because they are establishing the harmony between the material as well as the astral body and the universal rules of the elements. If the magician should ever get into disharmonies through any peculiar circumstances, all he has to do is practicing these exercises, and he will immediately redress the harmony. He will experience the comforting influence of the entire universal harmony, not only for a few hours but for days, which is creating and keeping in him the feeling of peace and happiness. The harmony of the elements in the body offers other more advantages, of which I shall mention only a few. First of all, the scholar is protected against the pernicious influences of the negative side of the elements. The very moment the scholar has achieved the magical equipoise, he is standing in the centre of all events, and will be aware of all the laws, all the constitutive moments and processes taking place in the universe in the true perspective. The scholar is spared from many illnesses, producing an effect of balance on his own karma and thus on his fate. He becomes more resistant against any dangerous influence. He is cleaning his mental and astral aura, strengthening his mental and astral matrix. He is reviving his magical faculties, and his intuition will become of universal character. His astral senses will be refined, and his intellectual capacities will rise.